Living the good fat life with your host Karen and Sherri. They'll help everything align for your body, soul, and mind. The good fat life, whether change comes slow or dramatically. The good fat life will help you sort things out organically.
I could feel my whole body just like goes into this little calm peace sighs.
Yeah, thank you, Wally. Yes. That is the best song. I just imagine him trying to write that song and thinking, what rhymes with organically? Right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But he did it. So
I would start playing it every morning, I think.
It is.
Start
Yeah. That's
happy Thursday.
Here we are
again. Yeah.
So, and we have our new issue with Good Fat Life. It's I don't know. It just feels good.
It does. Yeah.
It just feels good, and it continues to feel even better. And where things, the articles in it this time, I just am like in awe of how much has changed my life.
I'm in awe of all of it. Like, it really has changed our life, and it's sort of just coming from beyond us at this point. I really feel like totally. Yeah. 100%. Even like the light on the front of the magazine seems to be beyond, like the light just in the shot that we have on the front of the cover. So beautiful. It seems,
Yeah. And thank you to Portraits by Alex for the brilliance in the photography.
Bella, his assistant.
And Bella, I was going to say, did you watch the Adele special?
No, but I loved her pantsuit. Did you see her pantsuit?
Apparently there's a lot.
There's a lot to the pantsuit. Yeah.
But just to your quick point, when she was talking to Oprah, she said, I don't know. Oprah's like, where does it all come from? And she goes, I don't know. It just comes through me. And I would have to say, I'm really feeling that about the magazine and the whole Good Fat Life.
Well, it's really arrogant of us to think it's from us. Really, it's from beyond. And, that's why it's so exciting and thrilling to be part of. It's like, thank you, universe, for allowing me to follow this journey. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that said, we have got an amazing guest.
Yes,
with
who's
us
been
today.
on this journey with us.
Yes, who's been on this journey with us, and Jennifer McGovern, and she's I want to be sure it's CGC. It's a little bit of a mouthful. Water. So. Water. And I have to say, since Jennifer took this position with the water company, I've learned so much I just didn't even never think about. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's like a class reunion. It's, getting back together, and just it feels so blessed and privileged to be able to speak about it, because water is essentially building blocks for life. Our body is made of water. We need to consume water, and I think a lot of times when we don't have the education and the different things about where our water sources are, I think that, part of what I do besides serving the community is to be able to educate them. And so I hope that maybe some of the things that I share today will, bring a light to people, and, maybe will improve their health and their family and their well-being.
Yeah. What I love about you, Jennifer, is that you systematically and intentionally set your life up so you could find the place you're supposed to be in, right?
Yes.
And you prayed about it, and you thought about it, and here you are. And it's you can even see it in your body and in your spirit that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And it makes me feel so happy. But I was wondering, water, right? Did you ever think about water before? Like, do you know the reason why you're brought to water? Because I feel like there's a reason specifically why you're teaching about water.
Well,
have you resonated with that yet, or figured that out?
Not completely. I don't think I need to know all the details. I think it's kind of just being able to have faith to take one step in front of the other. And so what resonates with me right now is my own health journey that I've taken, and being sympathetic to other people's health. And then also the love that I have for family, for my family and other families, and of course the love that I have for community. And so those are the building blocks of, what our culture is as a company. We're here to serve. We are a family. and we want everybody to be healthy. And sometimes we get busy with our lives and get busy with the decisions that we make. We don't realize even the habits that we build. And so if you can allow people to be in the present and be able to share with them some new information, it can be life-changing.
Well, and we've certainly seen in Michigan, we've been in the news for a lot of years about our water issues, right?
Yeah, we don't have great water buzz here in Michigan.
Right.
Well, with the lakes, but that's
and
the
Flint.
Great Lakes are magical, but with Flint and with what's going on
Right.
and the impact of not having clean water.
Right.
So tell us about water.
Yes.
So what do you want to share that?
Well, I think one thing that I'd like to share with people is if you've never had your water tested, to do that. We're so quick to have our eyes checked, to go to see the dentist, to have physicals, to have our car serviced, and all these other things that we put in our schedule to make sure that we have baseline information to be able to do things and to have things run optimally. But water gets kind of pushed on the background. You just turn on the tap, the hot or the cold, and there you have water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're so grateful that we have that, but you can have better water. There's so many, it doesn't matter if it's well water, private well water, or city water. There are a lot of things that are in water that probably if people knew, they wouldn't want it to be in there. And so contaminants are really anything that is not water.
So what would a water test look like?
So a water test, they can either come to one of our facilities and have their water tested. We're also affiliated with the Home Depots that are in Michigan. So there are a lot of stores in the Brighton and Howell area and other places in the area that people can have their water tested. What it'll measure is the hardness of the water, which will affect their home. So we want to help people protect their home. And then also the EPA for drinking quality regulates that by TDS. It's total dissolved solids. We call that the good, bad, and the ugly in water. And so it's really anything as benign as minerals and sediment. But there are a lot of places in the area that have problems. You've heard on the news, lead and arsenic, PFAS, and other things. And we're here to educate and to support. We want to provide solutions. We're not here to scare anybody. We're here to help. So I like to step up and be able to provide this information. There's a lot of people that don't know that they can improve their drinking water. And a lot of it is tasteless and colorless. So just because it looks clear doesn't necessarily mean that your water is clean or it has, it doesn't have contaminants in it.
So can you tell us some of the small issues you may have if your water isn't clean enough? And I think we all know the drastic, more severe issues people have if they're drinking, obviously, poisons or contaminants in their water. Sure. But maybe something people don't think about that's affecting you in your daily life if you're drinking sediments and things like that.
Sure. Well, just hardness in water. I can speak from my own family experience prior to having these type of solutions for my family. My daughter has psoriasis, and it became very inflamed, and she ended up having some really bad inflammation and sores. And so we had to seek medical attention for her, but to discover that the hard water was building up on her skin, causing this irritation. Once that was removed, those things didn't present themselves like that. So it can affect your skin, it can affect your hair, brittleness, breaking, color. It can affect your appliances in your home, your pipes. So those things are pretty surface level, but typically a home is a person's or a family's largest investment, and that's where their heart is their home. So we want to help protect that from people, but also their pets. You wouldn't want to give your pet is smaller than a child typically. You wouldn't want to give your pet water that doesn't have the right consistency in it. So we are able to remove all of those different things. We have lots of different systems in place. Or iron, you can see iron. Iron is orange, so you can see iron. You can smell sulfur, so you can see that can be improved. But a lot of these contaminants, they're just invisible. So
I can see it in my washing.
yeah.
You know, when the colors get into my whites, so I send them out.
Yeah.
But we do have a. So how does that work? I get confused because we do have a water tank that we put
Sure.
water softener in, and we change the
Yeah.
filter on regularly for the house water, and then a reverse osmosis for the drinking water.
Yes.
Is that so? They're two separate systems.
They are.
Yes, and make sure you explain what reverse osmosis is
Because
as well.
I get confused. I really don't
Yeah.
know,
No.
Jennifer. And
Nobody does.
Like,
Nobody does.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, except
yeah.
Jennifer.
Right.
So the water softener basically is softening your water. It's taking out those extra granules. It's taking that extra sediment, the minerals out of your water so that it's not depositing on your skin or your glasses if you ever see spotting on your glasses. So that's what that does. There are pockets of areas in Livingston County that have a lot of iron. So unless you have a solution that can remove that iron, that can still present itself. So that's a whole nother solution.
And is that in your water softener system, or is that outside of it? Is that something separate?
It's something separate.
Okay.
It's something separate. So, but we can do that. And then for the drinking water, reverse osmosis is essentially cycling your water and filtrating it down to the most microscopic little bit, and it's just filtering all that stuff. So when you have the big particles filtered through the water softener, and then through reverse osmosis, it's taking those fine those organic materials, any kind of toxins and different things, or other small sediments and things, and it's removing those. And we can even put minerals into the water, so we have solutions that can do that too. So there's so much out there. It's not just a one size fits all. We like to have conversations with families and find out what's important to them. Mm-hmm. What are their concerns?
Wow.
And how we can remedy that. It's not, what can you sell me? What is the bottom line price? It's what is important to your family? What are your concerns? How can we meet these? So we have trained professionals that spend a lot of time, and we have a lot of happy customers because we take the time to listen.
Can I ask you a question? This may be silly, but when you take the minerals and stuff out of the water, then where does that go? Like, where do the minerals and things like that we don't want to drink, where does that go? Does that go back into the earth, or?
I'm not sure exactly all the different components on that, but that's part of the water cycle with the softener. That's why you have the salt, so it attaches to the salt. And then there are these little resin beads that are in the softener. And so everything kind of cycles. And so with our system, you'll have one tank that is essentially cleansing itself, and then you have one tank that your family is using for clean water.
Okay.
Clean soft water.
Huh.
And because ours are the only non-electric, it's also really good for the environment, which I'm really proud to be able to stand by a company who is doing that. Not to mention that when power outages happen and then your water recycles, a lot of times it'll come back orange, or it'll be hard for a little while because everything has solidified and settled. But you don't have to worry about that with our systems.
So what does that mean, non-electric?
So non-electric, it has gears that basically it's set by the technician by the volume of water that you use, and it's set to cycle. So when it cycles, the water flushes from one tank to another, and it's cleansed by the resin beads and the salt. And you have one tank of fresh, soft water and one that is being processed.
So tell me about like outdoors, because we have sprinklers, right?
Yeah.
And where the sprinkler hits the house, it turns it orange.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is so unattractive. And
Or irrigation. I spoke with a lady yesterday, and she said that she had city access water and a private well. And she was wondering, because she had her test results, and the TDS level was really high, and she recommended what should she do. And I said, well, if you are growing plants, like you said, vegetables and fruits and things like that, you're ingesting that. So if the EPA says this is the standard limit and it exceeds that, you should consider, a system for that. But we do have systems that are full house systems.
that's
So-
interesting, because
Yeah.
So you
There's
don't
so
have
much
to
to
worry.
consider, right?
Yeah.
And you can drive by neighborhoods, and it's funny. I think until you're present and you're helping people and having these conversations, whatever industry that is, there's so much that I think that it's kind of like, oh, this is just background noise, but it brings it into focus of how many things water touches that is important to our lives.
Right.
Yeah, I was just
Right.
thinking about
It's
when you were
just
talking about it, like,
everything.
wow, like, yeah, swimming. I mean, how does that
yeah.
affect your body when
Yeah.
you're swimming in water? That's
And you can't just all of a sudden decide, well, I'm not going to drink water. We all know if you don't stay hydrated, you get headaches and can affect your skin. It can affect your sleep and digestion. It's the center core of who we are. And
talk to that about hydration, because that is something I think people struggle with all the time. You think, you know, because the universe or God or whoever you believe in says there's this beautiful elixir that will change your life and keep you healthy, but it's so hard for people to commit to drinking water and stay hydrated.
yeah, I think it's a discipline that I know that I've had some colleagues in different things that have had like hydration challenges. I have some fitness professionals that do the same thing where they'll get fancy little containers and different things, and they'll say, you know, whoever can, you know, by the end of the month, drink the most water, you know, this is that. And it's just kind of, you're building this habit. I think just having it with you always. I always have water with me. I'll be the first one to admit that, you know, I forget. But if I have it with me, that's more likely to stay hydrated. And it's so important because it helps you stay focused. I first noticed like headaches or tiredness or things like that, but it's amazing. It can suppress your appetite too, because our body doesn't always know, am I hungry for food or am I thirsty? Do I want water?
So I have had dozens of lovely water bottles, right? To take.
Oh, yeah, I've done it all. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to buy this
Oh,
because
this is so cute. I'll drink out of it every day.
I'll drink it out of every, and then I leave it. And then I leave it. I've led dozens of them. And then you hear, oh, you shouldn't drink out of plastic bottles because the plastic leaches and it creates problems for the environment. And so then I would go, okay, I'll buy a water bottle. And then I lose it. And I mean, literally in the first day.
Oh,
right?
I know. Johnny's always collecting my water bottles here.
So talk about bottles.
Well, these bottles are actually what we provide as donations for the community. We don't sell bottled water, but we do sell the recycled 5-gallon jugs of water. Those are available, and those are reusable. Those are resanitized, reused. People can refill them at our stores, and they can still have the reverse osmosis, the benefit of having that water. And that's a very economical, affordable way to know that you're ingesting clean water. We have price points for everybody.
Okay,
for
every
I was just going to
for
ask
every
you.
economical standpoint. But I mean,
As it should be, yeah.
and it's a beautiful thing, and we love seeing our customers come in our store and fill up their water, and they say, you know, been with you guys for 7 years, been with you guys for 10 years, and it's funny how people, when you do taste good water, you don't want to go, the difference. But you
and
get
coffee
accustomed.
Too. Coffee makes a difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. Even cooking. When I was cooking this year, we had an early Thanksgiving dinner for my family. You don't have to use as many intense spices. It's a lot more subtle. The flavors just come through much better. So it's not. And
That's interesting.
And then the frothiness,
Yeah,
like
really
when you
interesting.
boil it, sometimes you get that frothy water residue and stuff when you boil pasta. There wasn't any of that with doing that. The coffee, I could see my coffee. It was lighter. It wasn't just so ebony. It was, same thing with the tea. You could see it. It was just very, very real, and just I could taste everything. It was wonderful.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
really makes
notice that
sense.
before. But when you switch over, it's different.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot to
Okay,
be.
so water to think about,
Yeah, because
right?
water, I mean, and how does it affect, say you're a family in your neighborhood and your water system's maybe not great, and it probably affects your neighbors as well, right? I'm guessing.
It can.
Yeah.
It can. Water chemistry is not the same. Like if you live in a neighborhood, doesn't mean that everybody has the same water chemistry. Depending on if you're municipal city water or if you have a private well, sometimes the chlorine percentage, the closer you are to the source, the higher chlorine percentage you have too. And I always mention to people, you don't think about the agents that are being used to clean our water. They're not really technically what we're supposed to ingest. So filtering those things out will make things taste better. Probably encourage people to drink more water. I know that I've had water over the years that hasn't had a really good flavor, and I really had a hard time trying to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time. So all of those things kind of factor, and it's a good thing to have tested on a regular basis, even if somebody isn't in the market right away. To implement a strategy for clean water solutions. Just like you would go to have a physical done, you should go have your water tested. There's new buildings, new construction.
So would you do that on an annual basis, or
If you
every
don't-
3 years?
If you don't have a system at all, or your system is getting older, I would recommend on an annual basis. I know a lot of people with new constructions, they'll do a water sample test. Now, what is considered approved through that is, different than maybe what I feel comfortable consuming. I don't feel like there's any level of arsenic or lead that is safe. I don't really want any. I know it's really hard to have 100% of anything, but the better that I can, the best thing I can offer my family is the best water. So that's what I would want to do, and that's what I try to offer other people. I talk to them as if they're my family because I do care.
Speaking of family, can you cycle back a little bit to how you correlated the water with the psoriasis? Because I think there's probably many people that go to the doctor having headaches and things like that, and they probably should start with their water.
Right. That's the thing with water and different things like that. It's a progression. It's just not one day you take it, you feel bad, or your skin is irritated, or all of a sudden you woke up and you have orange or brassy hair. It's a progression. And I think the more in tune we are with our bodies, with what we ingest, even having good food that we ingest in our body, how we prepare our food and all of these things, this is something that you're investing in what value do you put on investing in your family and protecting your family and your health? When your health is bad, you would give anything to have good health. But when your health is good, I find that a lot of people take that for granted. And I think it's kind of eye-opening, and I think that's part of what my mission is to be able to tell people before it may be too late for them, before they're experiencing any kind of difficulties or health problems or things with their homes that, it's going to be more of a burden to them, or more financially of a burden to them, to be able to circumvent that.
So I'm as I'm listening to you, and I'm just going, oh my gosh, we have these systems, but I'm sure we moved into our house 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were installed then.
Yeah.
And, we change the filters, we do those things,
Yeah.
but I bet we've never had our water tested.
I think it would be
then.
Yeah, and we offer free water testing, and we do this because part of the owner is Dan Abel. He's a large part of our community, and he believes, and so do I, and so do all we call them our family, because you work with the people more than you see your own family, so they are your family. So my family at CGC, we believe in serving. And how can we serve? We can provide the best water that we can to nonprofits, to events and organizations. So we seek that out. That's part of who we are. We want to help people who are homeowners, to provide them with the best resources for their family. We want to be able to provide opportunities for optimum health and optimum protection for people's homes and for their pets and people that enter their homes, because our homes are our sanctuary.
Right. And water is
vital.
At the heart of it.
It is. Water is life.
It is.
Yeah.
You're right. So, okay. So I sign me up. I want you to come out. It's just like,
There you go.
exactly.
There's
I
a
mean,
customer.
even like you said, your pets. It's like,
I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. That really poor kitty cats.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you figure people that invest in, veterinarian bills or the best food they can, it's so easy to turn that water on. Do you really know what's in it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And all that I'm here to do is tell you what's in it. And then you make that decision from the data I give you as to, do you want the help? It's just real.
Yeah.
It's really simple. It's real.
I love that.
Well, in humans'
Authentic.
defense, I mean, most animals will drink out of the toilet. So I think we think, oh, they're fine. You know what I mean? If it comes out of the sink, it's better.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, it's all relative, right?
It is all relative.
yeah.
But that's, and to your earlier point, I mean, everything you read about health, we talk about it in Good Fat Life. We've had some articles about the importance of drinking enough water.
Right.
And all the challenges, all the health plans, programs are like, get at least 8 ounce glasses a day.
Yes.
And that can be a challenge.
And when you think about it on a
Such a
higher
simple
level,
thing.
it's such a simple thing, but it's such a universal, important thing that we take for granted. And you hear about other countries where women spend their entire day getting clean water for their family,
Yeah.
Just to eat.
just to eat,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we just take it all for granted.
And how it can take a half a day or a day to just gather that water. And we have the ability, and we are so blessed, we have the ability to just go into any bathroom, any room, and just turn it on, and we have water. So
It's
I
a
just
big
feel,
it's a big responsibility.
it is a big responsibility.
Yeah. It's very,
And I kind of love this. Is going back to it's here. We, like you were saying earlier, when we feel good, we take it for granted.
Right.
And this is something I just love that we're having this conversation to be intentional about your water.
and
Yeah.
again, it's be intentional and be intentional about all of it, because it's just not us. It's everybody.
Yes.
And every living thing.
Yes.
Well, is there any?
That's all. Yeah. There's so,
What-
yeah.
So, thoughts? Any other things that you've learned? Are there any kind of things that you've learned that where you've just like, wow, I just had no idea.
Well, one thing that I've learned, and I guess I knew innately, but again, it wasn't in the forefront of my mind. And I think the things that are right in front of me are the things that I focus on. And so realizing that we were gifted with so much water on this earth at the beginning, and we have that same water, and it cycles through. But what's different about the water now than it was then is, through manufacturing and environmental things and stuff like that, there are contaminants in the ground and the air and other water droplets and just really everywhere. And so when that water cycles, it picks these things up that weren't there before. And so just as precious as the water was when we first had it, we have a responsibility for our families and for ourselves to provide the best water we can.
Well, and our generations and future generations, and
Yes.
And be good stewards of it.
Yes.
good stewards of the water. Yeah, that's and I guess it comes back to like taking that, like if we eat, like lots of people will stop and say a little prayer about their food,
Yeah.
but it doesn't generally include water.
No.
And
Because I think we
to
take
get-
for granted because it's easy to access
right,
that it is good.
right.
Or because you get reports that it meets requirements, but do you really understand what those requirements are? Like I said, if you put a drop of poison in your water, it's only a drop. I don't want any. I don't want anything that shouldn't be in there.
And you shouldn't want to give it to your family or put your
No.
child in it to bathe your child or any of that, like, because you
No.
wouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
It's a lot to
okay,
think about.
it is a lot to think about,
Yeah.
and also just to stop, pause, before we take a drink,
Yeah. And be
just
grateful.
and be
Be
grateful
grateful.
that we have this clean, pure water.
And when you gather with your family and friends and you bring your dishes and all of those things, just know that they came from a good place.
Yeah. Another
Just
thing to be
in
grateful about.
many ways, like that beautiful chef we had for our Black and Bling event, Carrie. I'm sorry, Carrie, I'm forgetting your last name, but she was saying how intentional she cooked her food, and it tastes so delicious.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
off
so
the flipping charts.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
And if we could offer our water that way, I can't even.
Yep.
Yeah. So can you tell us about how your water day is different now that you know more about water? Like the old water days and your new, they must be completely different how you see and handle water all day long.
I think my taste is more sensitive now that I know what I'm actually tasting. And I'm much more intentional about what I put in my body and what I offer my family and the people that are guests in our home. And then I'm also much more intentional and aware of how my skin feels and just what I'm offering. And so when I offer water in the community to people, I feel like I'm blessing them because whether they know it or not, they're drinking good water.
Mm.
And it's good for their body, and it's good for their mind, and it's good for their soul, and it's going to help them through the day. So it might just seem like, oh, well, it's just a bottle of water, but I'm really investing in people. And that's, I guess, my journey with the water company is I'm helping people from the inside out be the best selves that they can be.
Which, on that happy note, right, is what Good Fat Life is all
Good Fat Life's trying to do.
all
Yeah, that's what we're not
about.
trying. We are.
We are. but that's the essence of
Life.
Good Fat Life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Good Fat Life, yeah.
So, Jennifer, thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to say to people as you, any one thing that they could change immediately?
Well, CGC Kinetico is dedicated to the community to offer free water testing. If you have any concerns about your water, have never had your water tested, I encourage you to do so. We'd be happy to do that for you.
And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, where would they find you?
Well, they can either reach our office number, which is 888-242-4426, or they can reach me directly at 810-348-1502.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jennifer. Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer,
Thank
so much.
you.
I'll never look at water the same. Right?
Exactly.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah,
right? A good
water
thing.
is...
It's a gift.
It's
yes,
it
it's a
is
gift of life. Yeah.
It is a gift.
Yeah.
So, well, on that happy
I
note,
think it's time for us to go live our good fat life and get hydrated. Right?
yeah.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you so much,
both.
Jennifer.
Thank you so much.